everybody. I'm Kelly Ellers.
I'm Jeffrey Lennon.
And this is Volume Up by the Tees. All right, Jeff.
Let's do something quick, and
Okay.
then we can sort of have some fun. I think just to put it out there, we are online in the year of 2025, and we're seeing what is happening in LA in particular. I'm in
Yeah,
California, used to live in LA. My thoughts are, and yours are, everybody at the T's, worried about LA, watching LA,
for sure.
thinking of everybody there. And yeah, there's really not much more we can say other than we're with you. This is something that we're all living through. And yeah, with that, we're gonna get into this episode. Yeah, knowing that things are changing.
Things
So
are changing. In
yeah,
fact, the seasons are changing. We're gonna
they
just
sure have.
flip the switch. We're gonna go lighter.
Lighter,
We're gonna
much
go
lighter.
lighter, warmer, sunnier. We need all of
Mm,
it, right?
mm.
Okay. Do you have any like weird or odd or unique kind of favorite summer activities that you do?
I feel like I'm being set up. I don't really, I mean, we're big into you and I both, when I say we, in this case, are into gardening.
Mm.
So I have two very large
Oh.
raised beds.
Mhm.
We are producing all sorts of summer.
Already?
We got tomatoes, we've got
Come on.
strawberries, we've
We
got
don't have a hint of
peppers.
anything, just a
I've got
little.
green beans.
No,
I mean,
stop it.
sorry, but that's so I'm really into tending to my garden, as it turns out. And I will probably be doing that all summer. We have artichokes. I forgot to, we have
What?
artichokes.
What do those grow
We
on? Are those underground?
No, no, no. So it's a big ass plant. We planted it last summer, nothing happened. And this year, so far, we have three fucking artichokes.
Come on, get out.
California. I
How
know.
big are they? Like a real
No,
artichoke?
like a full blown,
No,
like
I
big as
don't.
my, nobody's watching this part, but it's a big ass artichoke that we cut it off. The other one is a little bit smaller, but we also cut it because we were afraid that like a squirrel would get to it because it's just like in a
Do
big,
squirrels like artichokes? That's
I
the
don't know, but
question.
the squirrels in my yard are really just coming for all of the
You
stuff.
know
So
what?
I was worried. So to just,
That's a
yeah,
nice
hedge my
segue
bets.
because, first of all, I love that for you.
Where
But
are you going
it's
with this?
it's a nice segue. And the fact that I have all of a sudden, this is like totally outing me, but I like to sit outside in the late afternoon
No.
and listen to the birds chirping,
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you were going to tell
not
me you were
shoot
watching.
squirrels.
Yeah, I was like, oh, where are we going with this?
But
No, birds.
I have secured multiple feeders. I now know the songs that they sing and by which bird. I'm 80. I'm 80 years old.
That's
I don't even know
beautiful.
what I'm going to do when I'm older. I think they're just going to roll me out and be like, listen, listen to the birds, you crazy.
Um,
But
I
I also, okay, back to the squirrel.
I just all of a sudden Mary Poppins Feed the Birds came into my
I
head.
can't. It's me, literally. I'm out there. I'm like, you goddamn squirrel, get off my feeder.
See,
Right?
this is how I feel. But they're coming after my strawberries. So anyway, but keep going.
Okay, so much that my friends know, and now I'll take video of the sounds and send them to my friends. And I think that maybe I should start some sort of like
Please
bird influencer. Wow,
do
this
it.
is just
Do it. No, no, no.
honestly,
This is
this is
so
happening.
niche.
It's so
Yeah.
niche. And Jeff,
Yep.
I went into Birds Unlimited yesterday. I walked right in the door. And there
This
was
is
a
a real
woman.
place.
Yes, they have all sorts of bird seed and bird feeders. I'm gonna cry. This is so crazy. I got myself a squirrel proof feeder because I'm so mad at the
Of course you
squirrels.
did. But I've seen videos, I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about, where the squirrels can still get into the squirrel proof thing, and then
I
that's
know.
the whole anyway. So I wish you luck on that journey, of trying to keep them away from. Do you have the feeders with the cameras so you can see the birds
No,
when you're
not
not
yet.
outside? Okay,
I've
so that's
desperately
the next
wanted
move.
one, but I've
Yeah.
heard and it's definitely the next move. I've heard that they don't work. Like they can't connect to your Wi-Fi. Like they have to be super close
Oh.
to the house,
Oh.
which makes total sense, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how are we
But
getting Wi-Fi? But you better believe I'm going to get one of those. And I don't
and then it's
think
over for
I
everybody
could
else. That's
concentrate.
your full feed is just gonna be bird cam. Wow.
I
Okay.
can't. It's
So
the
to
best.
that
So that's
end,
my,
wait, no, no. What is your favorite? What of the
oh my
birds that
God.
you're
Yeah.
seeing on the
I
regular?
think I
Do you
might be morphing into one because it's a cardinal and look what I'm
Oh.
wearing.
Oh, you really damn. Damn. Yeah, you really
It's the
have.
cardinal. And I think, that has a story that cardinals are a sign that someone is like thinking of you,
Yeah.
or there's somebody that has passed on that
Yep.
they're reminded or watching over
Hmm.
you. And my grandmother loved cardinals. And so
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just going all in on this bird thing. And you
wow.
just wait.
Wow.
I might reveal my TikTok. So you've got vegetables. We're both pissed off at squirrels, and I am
As
listening
are, I
to
think, many.
birds.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. It's
We should
actually quite
all,
peaceful.
yeah, that's what it's like they said, that's TikTok says, touch grass. You're out there
I'm
listening
touching
to
grass.
birds.
I'm listening, and then I'm like, "Oh, a blue jay! What?
Oh wow. I haven't so West Coast, I don't know that we
What you
have blue
have?"
jays. I haven't seen
They're
a blue
mean.
jay
Did you
in a
know they're
while.
mean? They're super mean.
I didn't know that, but I can see it. They're
See,
like they look like when you pick they look like they would be
they look
angry.
like they have an attitude. They're just like,
Yeah.
"What? Get out
Yeah.
of here!"
Yeah.
And they
No.
shoosh everyone away.
So to this I can contribute. We have a pair of mourning doves and they're
Oh,
so pretty and they like
what?
nest. I've never seen the babies, but like they've been here for as long as we've
Oh,
been in this house.
no
And
way.
my oldest daughter, whose name means dove, is very
No,
attached to the doves, the little pair. So yeah, we like walk
that
out there at
is.
night or like in the evenings when I'm like watering the plants and they'll be like
They
scurrying
coo,
around on
don't
the ground.
they?
Yeah, yeah,
They
it's really
coo.
cute. It's really
Listen to me. I know the
yeah,
sound.
you know,
This
you
is
know.
unhinged content.
This is not what our listeners subscribed for,
No,
but here we
it's
are.
not. Anyway,
Yeah, this is a great time for us to do something that they actually did want to hear.
let's do
So
that.
our yes, celeb photos of the week. Let's talk about some hair picks. Again, just for the sake of saying it, we've not seen these before. These are real reactions in
Yes.
real time. First up, Natalie Venetia Belcon.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is dangerous to me. The Tonys are where I just have no idea what the hell is
Same.
happening.
I don't
Like
either.
Broadway,
I
I
love
know it's
Broadway.
same, but
Love.
like I respectfully, with the exception of Pussycat Doll, Nicole Scherzinger, who is now a Tony Award winner, I got nothing. So anyway,
Wow, that was taking it pretty far back.
so well, that's again, that's how tangentially we anyway, this actress, I'm sure, incredibly important. I don't want to disrespect her in any meaningful way. Like no shade meant. But yeah, I don't know her. So what do we got going on, Kelly?
Anyway, her hair, her look is a look. I
Yes.
mean, the dress is incredible. It's like kind of got black feathers all running from her ankle up and down to her arm with some purple kind of turtleneck going on. And I think her hair is really appropriate for it. It's tucked back in a little bit of a bouffant with a little bit of a texture and wave to it. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got this wavy, it's braided too, so very
You're right.
retro.
Very,
Like
yes.
it's yeah, which I guess so she's apparently from people that are really into Broadway are gonna hate us. She's
Absolutely. Be
apparently
like,
from
what's happening? You guys suck.
Buena Vista Social Club. And in stage costume, it looks like it's maybe a period piece. So maybe the retro hair makes sense in
Yeah,
that
it fits the
regard.
period.
Yeah,
All
sure,
right.
sure, sure. But no, I love this actually. Shout out to the hair team because this is a great look. Again, showing for sure technique. I'm gonna give this like a an 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 too. I love it. And congratulations to her for winning the Tony for Best Actress in a Musical. Okay, next up, Jeff, we have Camila Brown, another Tony nominee.
So, okay, we're looking at this. As you said, we've got some bejeweled, sparkly moment happening. Hair swept back. We got it really slick. And then she's got locks. They're worn up into some sort of abstract form.
Fun.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like a very sculptural, which we've seen for other red carpets. So this makes sense that, we'd see it at the Tonys. The Tonys are the biggest deal for Broadway. Yeah, and we're seeing she's got color in the locks, so different sort of variation there, plays between darks and lighter tones. What do you think?
Honestly, I like it because I think the dress is very structured, and I think that it is a sleeveless dress with sort of
Mhm.
great lines, if you will, great cut. And so I think her hair needed to be up as not to distract from the dress. And I'll give a nod to the jewels. Like, I don't know, would you put jewels on your temples? I think it look great on you.
I don't think that I'm nearly this brave, but I think like to your yeah, like we'll give her some points for going there.
For
Like why the
bringing
hell not?
something new to the table, right? I'm
Yeah.
gonna give her a 6, solid 6, Jeff.
I think I think like a yeah, 6 or 7 maybe. I'll be generous. Yeah, yeah.
All
The
right.
sparkle, the sparkle, it's like it's sitting with me in a weird way. It like I like it, but I'm also like, I don't know. But maybe I do. So there's that.
Maybe you do. Okay, last but not least, Jeff, Jordan Roth. I'm gonna let you go ahead and just explain this. I mean, the dress is
Damn it.
archival. It's archival Alexander McQueen. So let's set the
Yes.
stage with angels and demons. Archival Alexander McQueen. The hair's got to do something big to
And
match the stature of the look, the
and we
outfits.
we've done that. So
Yes.
I mean, best described as like a plumed mohawk
Yeah.
headpiece.
Are there feathers in
Like
there? There's feathers in
yeah,
there.
yeah. This is, I mean, so I'm trying to get my eyes on this. So for sure, hair is slicked back into what appears to be a low bun, right? And then we've got this
Yes.
headpiece. I think that Jordan's hair is in there as well. So there's feather and then there's hair, there's color to match the dress. Um, very rock, like very rock and roll.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say punk because it's glam. I don't I'm just gonna say this,
They're
and
not.
this is not specific to Jordan. I think Mohawk hairstyles are fucking lame. I don't think any single person can pull it off.
That's
And this
fair.
includes Jordan. So that
So,
you can
and
my rank here is gonna be like a 1 or 2. I just think it's so tacky. Like I never think that it's high end. I always think that it looks like
that's
you're trying to like it's so much like attention. I want attention and I don't want to give it. So sorry.
I think
Sorry
I'm gonna
to
go pretty low on that too, like a 1 or a 2, because here's the dress needs to speak for itself. Then we have this huge necklace choker, and we have this
yeah.
crazy ass hair, and then we put feathers in it. I don't think
And then
feathers
a
should be in
hand
hair
piece,
anymore.
a gloved.
Yeah,
I just yeah,
it's overdone. It's too
it's
much.
yeah. I mean, like
You
I'm all
know,
about the self-expression. I'm just like zeroing in on the hair. I'm not into it at all.
not into it. I like to say more is more, but in this case,
You do. This was too much. This was too much more.
this was too much. This was too much for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna move on.
Yeah,
Let's do
let's
it.
do that. Let's talk about some of this week's top stories. So this you brought to my attention.
Yeah.
You because you are in this space. You've got now teens, which is terrifying. And we all obviously have TikTok. So there's a story about TikTok beauty advice that can lead to skin damage in teens. So tell me what the hell
Yeah.
we all need to know about this, please.
Interested in this because I have boys, obviously,
Hmm.
and they
Hmm.
do have they're gonna kill me for saying this, but I make them like wash their face, right? I mean, we're not
Which
going
not
down the path of
controversial.
like
No, yep.
we're not doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I have a ton of friends with girls that are
Hmm.
tweeny teens,
Hmm.
and the amount of skincare products that these girls have is absolutely crazy. They've got the refrigerators, like the whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
the little mini
And
beauty
so
fridges. What the
it's
fuck?
like, what the fuck? I don't even think I'd go there if I had a daughter. I'd be like, you can walk downstairs
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
get out of the
Do
fridge.
yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. There's so much content about TikTok and teenage girls, and this particular article, this girl went through a series of 14 beauty products on her face that cost nearly $350. The thing is, why are we taking skincare? What's the word? Why can't I think of the word?
Advice.
Advice from little tweens. One, first of all, we need to support the pros. Like, take your
Yes.
daughter to an
Yes.
esthetician,
Absolutely.
please.
And
Get a
purchase those
proper
products that are recommended.
skincare
That yep.
line,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because after the 15 products, she's like, "Yeah, I look great now." She's all glossed up and blah, slick looking. Then she broke out everywhere. So it's like, I don't
Yeah.
think we need to do this. There's a lot of products, there's a lot of ingredients that don't need to
Yep.
be on young skin. So anyway, my thought with this is if you're listening to this and you have a teenage daughter, get her into a skincare routine with a professional.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
That's where we're at.
boom, drop the mic. Like, yeah, perfect. Literally no notes. Like, come on, gang. We don't need to do this.
I
I
don't need to
just
do it.
watched the video. Again, why are anti-aging skincare from kids that don't need these things is really just like
Right.
everything's gone off the rails.
We've
Yeah.
gone.
All right. Well, something
Okay.
that's not gone off the rails, something that
No,
makes a
it's back
ton of
on.
sense.
Hmm.
I mean, how do we want to talk about this? Friend
I
of
mean,
the pod?
friend of, I mean, you know that I've fangirled Allie Webb for probably the last decade from a business perspective
Hmm.
and personal. I got to meet her and get to know her. She was on the podcast as well.
Hmm.
And we've been watching what is she going to do next. And this week she launched her new anti-blowout product line, Messy. And it's all the rage, all the buzz. And if you know Allie from back in the day, clearly she had a very successful business about blowouts, the blow dry bar, all of those incredible products that she sold that business. Yeah, I get it. Love that. Now she's going the other way and she's like, you know what? I actually am embracing now my actual messy hair. I've fallen out of love with the blowout and fell in love with my actual hair. So to her, she's launching this very simplistic line, 3 products. It's direct to consumer. It's going to hit Sephora shelves on the 24th of
Hmm.
June. And I just wanted to say congrats to her. I can't imagine what it's like to build this, first of all, dry bar and then sell it for an incredible amount of money, right? With fame, success, New York Times bestseller, and then to go back into creating another line had to be probably intimidating. And it looks like it's going to be a fabulous go for her again. Let's have her on the pod.
Boom.
Let's do it.
You hear
All
that?
right. We'll see you soon, Ellie. Anyway, this week we were talking with Andrew Caruso, the Executive Vice President of Sales for Pure Brazilian, who has over 20 years in the professional beauty industry. Throughout his career, he has grown from behind the chair to leading the charge across multiple channels, driving growth, innovation, and strategic expansion for beauty brands. We're going to get into it with Andrew.
Now it's time for our segment, If They Were a Hairstyle. Every week, we'll ask the host who interviewed this week's guest what the hairstyle that guest would be based on their personality. So, Kelly, Andrew, what hairstyle is coming to mind?
All right, to me, I mean, we're talking pure Brazilian, and I think
Mm,
that he would just be a smooth, beautiful, kind of tousled curl. I mean, there's some excitement. I like that for
mm,
him.
I'm into it. I can see that.
All right. So, Jeff, make sure you subscribe, which I'm sure you do. Rate and review and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease and sending questions to volumeup at thetease.com.
Before we get to Kelly's interview with Andrew, let's talk Tease Beauty News. These are the stories that are on our site that you should probably know about. So the first up, we've got Hair Has No Gender founder Jamie DeGrazia on the 5 ways salons can make an impact during Pride Month. While it's important to champion, support, and celebrate the LGBTQIA plus community all year round, Pride Month is the perfect opportunity to really step it up and help advocate for change, especially in the professional beauty industry. If you've been looking for ways that you can make a positive impact with your salon this month, consider joining Hair Has No Gender, not for profit, in their movement to create lasting, affirming change in the beauty industry. For those who are unaware, Hair Has No Gender is a nonprofit organization that was founded by Sam Villa ambassador and
Mm.
Logan Parlor salon owner Jamie DeGrazia. The organization is committed to eliminating gendered service pricing, promoting inclusive practices, and ensuring that every salon is a place of belonging for LGBTQIA plus clients and professionals. Jamie DeGrazia says, this Pride Month, we're calling on the beauty community to turn their spaces into powerful platforms for advocacy, education, and equality. DeGrazia was kind enough to share 5 different ways that salons can make an impact during Pride Month. Head to tees.com to learn more. Kelly, happy Pride, firstly.
Thank
I'm
you. Happy
obsessed.
Pride.
Yeah, happy Pride for literally everybody. I'm
Yes,
obsessed with Jamie.
I
I
know.
think people that are on the, T social and the .com are aware of this. And Hair
Yes.
Has No Gender. Obviously, Hair Has No Gender. This makes total sense. I actually got to visit Jamie at Logan Parlor in
Yeah.
Chicago earlier this year. And she's featured in Printed, which I think we've
Oh,
alluded
what's that?
to.
What's that?
Hmm,
I don't, that's
yeah,
casual.
our print magazine. There's
Whoop.
a juicy spread in which she and I talk all about Hair Has No Gender, Logan Parlor, and being a safe space. So I would highly encourage everybody to get at that, whether via our site or in person. We can get a physical copy. So details to
Huh.
come.
Casual drop. Love that. And love what she's doing at hairhasnogender.org. Check it out. All right. Now we're going to recreate Cynthia Erivo's Tony Awards nails with this step by step. Broadway is back, which we alluded to at the top of this episode. Everyone's favorite Cynthia Erivo hosted the 78th annual awards show honoring the best of the Great White Way. And
Yep.
of course, she brought vocals, but her nails deserve a standing ovation, as they always do.
I
You know,
mean,
I've got to
God,
tell, I mean, for example, like she has brought nail art to literally the main stage in a
10 out of 10.
huge way. So thank you to that. But I continue on. Arivo, herself a Tony winner, is known to experiment with her sets and her manicure for the awards. Created by celebrity manicurist Micah Dior using après nails, was spectacular. Summery, thanks to floral elements, but futuristic too, with chrome details, which, hi, check, chrome on me
Mm-hmm,
too.
mm-hmm,
We're in
mm-hmm.
love. Head to thetease.com to get the breakdown. Jeff, I have noticed even some of my friends who like would just get like a basic manicure or a basic color are starting to like get designs, do different things. And I don't know, like Oh,
I'm
what are we
rocking a
flashing?
chrome
Jeff just has a
detail
little.
on
Oh,
my, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
like
I know
that.
some people that have
Cute,
some,
Dad.
yeah.
Anyway, my point is she brought nail art to the forefront, and we love our nail professionals that sometimes don't get all the credit they deserve. So here we are.
Absolutely.
She's
Yeah.
helping us out.
Could not have said it better. Thank you so much to our contributors and our editors for this week's beauty news. And don't forget to check out more stories like these on thetease.com.
Next up, my interview with Andrew Caruso. Andrew, or otherwise known as Andy Caruso, is the executive vice president of sales for Pure Brazilian, a beauty brand focused on providing amazing, honest results with clean, simple ingredients. With over 20 years in the professional beauty industry, he's grown from being behind the chair to leading the charge across multiple channels, driving growth, innovation, and strategic expansion. Today, he oversees three powerhouse brands: Anthony Skin and Alpha Skin in mass retail, and Pure Brazilian in professional wholesale distribution. To him, each brand serves a unique purpose, but all share one mission: deliver high performance products backed by education, integrity, and strong partnerships. Andrew specializes in building brands that resonate, whether on a retail shelf or in the back bar, by connecting deeply with both the consumer and the pro. From launching global distribution programs to elevating visibility in major retailers, Andrew is passionate about helping brands break through the noise and creating opportunities for long term success. All right, here we are with Andrew. Andy.
Whichever one you want to use is going to work for me.
All right, you got it. So, with 20 years of experience working in the beauty industry, you went from behind the chair to driving growth and strategic expansion for big beauty brands. Talk to me about the journey, what inspired you to pursue then the business side of things as well.
Yeah, it started. I graduated cosmetology school and I jumped right into Cosmoprof, working as their store
Okay.
associate. And I would still be behind the chair. I was still working at the store, and I found out really quickly that I can talk more than I can cut hair. And I noticed that I was making changes in brands in our own salon. I was making brands in the barber shop I worked at, and I was just like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
And then I found out that there was these positions called distribution sales consultants.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I can now leave the store and now I can go in the field and work with the salons that come and interact with us every single day. And then that's where the passion really started. It's like, okay, there's people that will listen to me. I have the stylist background. So
Yeah.
that's the hardest part sometimes when you're in
Right.
sales. It's like,
Yeah.
are you a hairdresser? Are you not a hairdresser? And I just dug into that, and it's been 20 years.
Wow.
It's just working from behind the chair and now having the opportunity to put my hands in the steering wheel and drive the direction of, three great brands. And we've just seen so much growth because we're doing the right things from all the years of experience. I'm putting together what worked for this brand, what did they do wrong,
Yeah.
and I just kind of make those changes as we navigate through our ships.
I love that. And I love the fact that you've got that distributor experience. Because again, you said you've seen the lens of multitude of brands, and then you layer on that stylist perspective too, which is rare, as you mentioned, to kind of have that dual focus from a career perspective.
Yeah, it gives me that, I call it the sphere. It gives me that approach where I can talk to both the counter person, I can talk to the
Okay.
stylist, I can talk to the salesperson, I can talk to the education department, I can talk to the brand. I can get that full aspect. So when I put together my promotions, when I put together our campaigns, I make sure all
Yeah.
five are
Mhm.
being appeased,
Smart.
because if we leave one out, it starts the rumbling rumors of, oh, they did this for this person, but they didn't do it for
Huh.
me. So I
Super
kind of
smart.
make sure all the time it's got that full demographic
Yeah.
approach to it.
Ooh, I like that. I might steal that.
Steal it. It's $15.99. I'll send you a subscription fee for it.
Great. The sphere. All right. So, what goes into developing a brand in the beauty industry? Like, if we have stylists out there, listeners are like, I want to do that. Where in the world do I start?
It starts with purpose.
Okay.
It really, you have to start from why you want to do it.
Okay.
Marketing 101. If you can't be the first to the category, be the first to a new category. So it starts with purpose and why you're going to create the brand or why you're getting involved with the brand. And if it aligns with you, then you got to dig in.
Okay.
Starting a brand, it really comes into making sure your products are quality. You got to make sure you have great packaging. Some people think, well, I have a bottle, I put a label on. It's like, no, it's got to
Yeah.
jump off the shelf. It really has to come to
Oof.
life.
Yeah.
And so I think when you come with purpose and you put in the effort, the rest will fall into place. And then it comes into education, it comes into promotions, it comes into strategic aligning with your distribution partners. And that's the other thing, is finding distribution. because
Yeah.
so many brands start solo. They go on
Yeah.
e-com, they start there, but then they've realized very quickly it's hard to pull off of e-com and go
Yeah.
into sales because you've lived there for so long. Because COVID really has done that a lot,
Yeah. Right.
driven
It's
e-com
changed us.
business.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to start a brand, have a purpose, have a passion, and then develop your team. And I'm so glad and so grateful for the team we have because it's based on all the years of connections. And I'm
Yeah.
pulling in the people that were along my journey. Like, hey, we're going to do this. You want to join in? And so you create
Mhm.
an education department, you create a marketing department. And people need to remove the stigma of, oh, I need to have 15 marketers. It could be your best friend who
Yeah.
knows how to do marketing.
Yeah.
Start small, and then you'll roll it out and you'll develop the internal departments as you grow. So
Yeah. I love that.
you got to just start from the ground and just get all into it. As Matthew McConaughey would say, if you're going to do it all the way.
I love that. I mean, there has to be that intrinsic passion, as you mentioned too. Like, I feel this in my bones that this, whether it's a category disruptor or, something, that you're adding to the category, there has to be that drive deep down because it's hard.
And you've got to get through the failures.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone, it's just before it's going to click. There's
Hmm.
this, I'm going to quit. This isn't working. And
Yeah.
then it could be 10 days later, it just shifts on you completely.
I love that. We're
It's
going to
pushing
manifest it
through.
to happen. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got and prayers. If you don't put something in the sky every morning, I was like,
I'm
that's
with
how
you.
it happens. You gotta keep the prayers going on the whole thing because you're not on the journey alone. And it's
Yep.
good to have someone in the background helping you out with it.
I agree wholeheartedly. Okay, so let's talk about the three brands that you're working with
Sure.
now: Anthony Skin, Alpha Skin, and of course, Pure Brazilian. How do you strategize for all of those brands at once? I mean, let's dig into it.
ADHD is what it really comes down
Yeah, you're
to.
just moving. You're
it's
moving.
it's constantly having many plates in the air.
Yeah.
And what we do is when the gentleman who brought me in to create the wholesale division, they were saying, here's the brands. Can you build departments for each of them?
Okay.
And it's super easy because, for Anthony Skin, it lives really well in prestige
Okay.
salons. It lives really well in barbershops. It used to, it's been out for 25 years. It
Okay.
started with
Yeah.
Nordstrom. And then as we incorporate, we change it to an e-com model and export. And then we focus on the stylists who really engage because Anthony Skincare, there's so many skincare brands out there that offer
Yeah.
a segment to men.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Skincare was the first all
Huh.
men's brand. And
Interesting.
that's the cool thing is that people don't realize
Yeah.
it's been out for 25 years.
Yeah.
I've been
OG.
using it
Total. Yeah.
for 15 years now. I'm 107 years old. My skin still looks fantastic.
You
Uh,
don't look 107.
no,
It's
it's
working.
the stress. So with Anthony, it's, same idea. Take the brand, set it on the table. What does it need? What's it
Yeah.
missing? Pull your team together and says, what can we add to this to put it back to life? Because,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, our company is an acquisition company. We take the brands that were just fantastic. Ownership wants to part away. They want to do a different thing. And we go in and say, okay, how can we make this better than what it was before? So
Yeah.
Anthony lives really well, and that men's approach to skincare. It's not overcomplicated. It's super simple for any guy to get in. And believe it or not, we have a really good female following in the brand as well because our
Hmm.
glycolic facial cleanser is top notch.
Oh, all right.
So with Anthony, it's just the same idea. It's just get it back out there, but at the same
Yeah.
time, listen to the general public because obviously we're
Yeah.
in major department stores. We're globally in major department stores, so we have to listen to 7 different countries' needs.
Mm.
So with that one, then we go into Alpha. Alpha is the
Yeah.
same idea. It's we sell 7.5 million bottles of body lotion. That is
Wow.
15,000 positive reviews on Amazon. We have
Wow.
a
All right.
consumer base that repeats business on an average of 70% comeback.
Whoa.
It just goes to show you that you can moisturize the skin, do cell growth at the same time, and exfoliate. That's an
Hmm.
oddball in the market. So when it comes to the Alpha skincare line, we use alpha hydroxy, citric acid, stuff like that, and just brings the skin back to life. Great
Hmm.
MSRP underneath, the $22 range. But at the same time, it's clean and it's not complicated. There's 7 SKUs.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to get
Yeah.
into. So when we brought that brand in, we realized that it's a huge calling in the cultural markets.
Okay.
So we found that niche, found those people, connected with influencers, and it's been driving naturally. We were on a show. It was Hot and Flashy. She posted us one day, and we just saw our sales go through the roof.
No way.
And it was
Wow.
just like, wow. And she's been using the brand for 10 years. It's been out for
Huh.
30 years.
Some
Um,
legacy in these two brands.
yeah, that's the real thing. And then Pure
Yeah.
Brazilian is I could say my love child because I have I've sold keratin as a sales consultant before, as a manufacturer and distributor. And now when we got this brand, this has been out for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's really the past year where people are like, what's the blue bottle? What's pure Brazilian? Because
Yep.
people like, I've never heard of it before. It's been a silent giant for 15 years.
Jeez.
And
In the
we
category, right? I mean, that's interesting. Yeah.
in one of the hardest
Yeah.
categories. Keratin is not an easy
Yes.
category. So for anyone that's trying to jump in the category, I'm
Yes.
telling you, it's a dogfight. It really
Yeah,
is,
for
because
sure.
we have to show why we differentiate ourselves from other brands. So kind of, again, putting on the triage table, what's good, what's bad, what's it
Mm,
need, and just create that program. And we're so fortunate to have the overall ownership invest our personal money into this brand, because in the
yeah.
past 60 days alone, we've had amazing conversations where 2026 is going to blow it off the Richter scale. So we're so
Woo.
excited for it.
We love that. All right. Let's get into a little bit more on Pure Brazilian. We're going to drill down on it. How did you get involved? I mean, you kind of mentioned some of the other brands and your background.
Yeah.
Specifically, how did this brand come to the table?
So the two owners, Joe and Saul, they bought the brand in 2023 from its
Okay.
original owners.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, I was in my backyard and I haven't talked to Solomon in 5 years. And
Hmm.
it's just ringing. I was like, oh, Saul. Well, I'll answer the phone.
Love
And he's
that.
like, hey, we bought a professional beauty brand.
Hmm.
We know it's got legs. It's liquid gold. That's our tagline. It's liquid gold. And they're like, could you build us a company behind this brand? Because it didn't have anything before.
Okay.
And I was like, and mind you, I'm still 20 years at Cosmo Profit. I'm like, okay, this is my chance to put my hands in the steering wheel and put
Yeah.
full direction into something. So we got into it. We figured out where it was, where it needed to be, where we wanted to go. And then we just literally drew that roadmap out the entire time.
Okay.
So I was super fortunate. The gentleman entrusted me with, one of their most recent investments, and
Hmm.
we have really turned it around in such a short time frame. Our
Yeah.
publicist says this all the time. It's very rare you see a brand turn around in under a year and a half,
Yeah.
and
That's incredible.
it's just been amazing. We went from zero education to 25 global educators. We have social media influencers. We had two great conversations today with some leading influencers, because now everyone's starting to see what's the blue
Yeah.
bottle, and
Yeah.
that's really, we're starting to see it pay off really at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
It's popping. I mean, you're everywhere. I had a huge presence at Premiere Orlando. Congrats on that. I mean, I have been seeing it, being in the industry, just come to life, as you mentioned too. And so congrats to you and the team, because that is no small feat.
Now, I really appreciate that. That is the one thing we've realized it's all paying off. And to go back to Premiere, what a show. What a show
Yeah.
at the end of the day. That
Yes.
was probably one of the best shows that we've seen in a long time. The attendance was through the roof. Obviously, we were the largest booth, so we took over kind of the middle of the show, right on main
Love
stage.
that.
And we said this after the show because we sold out. We sold out of all of our inventory.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we
Wow.
did amazing sales. And I said to everyone, I looked around, I was like, if they didn't know about us yet, they know about us now,
I
because
know.
it really came to life. Our education team was engaging with the consumers. We had customers going, hey, I use this brand. What's different? And if we
Mhm.
can speak those differentiators to convince the client that, hey,
Right.
listen, we have a safer alternative. We all use the same ingredients, but how we bake our cake is a little different.
Hmm.
And that really helped Launchpad. So Premiere, I mean, I'm still tingling over it, because when you show up to that booth, and I'm sure you saw it,
Yeah.
it's just like, we're here.
It
And
was
now,
it was a statement.
yeah,
Let's
it
be
was a
honest.
great statement piece. And especially being on main stage, we had the traction of, people coming up to see main stage. They would stop by our booth going, hey, I've never heard of you. What are you? And then we
Yeah.
just do our quick, I call it the New York pitch. This is what
Mhm.
we are.
Love it. So, I mean, what prompted the decision to invest more heavily in like the consumer facing or retail products in the salon? What was the strategy behind that?
So that's really what differentiates ourselves from
Okay.
a lot of other brands, is because some brands have a great treatment line, but they don't have a way to support it for stylists and the end consumer.
Okay.
So we really dig hard into our 7 retail items. More to come later on this year. We're in development now. But the retail line gives the consumer the availability. If they don't want to commit to the keratin treatment, they don't want to sit in the salon for so long,
Yep.
our retail line has hydrolyzed keratin in all of our products. But at the
Okay.
same time, you can't over proteinize the hair and cause any fractures or any breakage, because you're not giving too much protein. So our consumer end gives them the ability to have a 1-day keratin treatment. And that
Okay.
kind of segues them back into the salon going, hey, I have frizz-free hair for 24 hours. How do I get this a little bit longer? And then we walk them through the treatments.
That's super smart.
That's a little
Super
bit of
smart.
strategy there. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I love that. How has the line changed in response to the salon or stylist feedback? Are there certain products that have led the charge, if you will, to change the products?
Yeah, if there's two hero SKUs that we're really leading with right now, first and foremost is our clear formula. It's
Okay.
formaldehyde free. And I really want to live there for a second because so many people, obviously, there's a lot of different discussions with the government and overall bans and things like that. And so many people are rushing to market with a formaldehyde free. We've had it.
Right.
We've had it
You've
for
had it.
7 years.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there going, our turn. You know,
Yeah.
it's time for us to show you what we've got. So we're leading the charge with clear, super
Okay.
easy, 3-step process. I say it's 3 steps, but if you really break it down, it turns into 11 because you got to really break down every knuckle. But that's really where we've seen the growth is, you know, there's a lot of brands that have created this category.
Yeah.
They've had challenges in it, and we're sitting there going, we've got this. We've got this perfected. Let us show you what we've
Yeah.
got.
We've
And the
been there.
second product is our Nourishing Style Treatment Oil. We won 2024 Styles Choice Award for Best Overall Styling Treatment Oil. And that right there, that was sold out in our booth within the first 6 hours. I mean, we
Wow. All
tripled
right.
last year's inventory and we still sold out. So we're like, all right, next year we're going to go 10x. So those two products are what's really leading the overall discussion of the brand because we have the ratings, we have the votes, we have the audience of the stylist, and now
Yeah.
it's just showing the distributors, hey, listen, this is what we've got, and we
Yeah.
have the certificates to kind of back it up a little bit too.
Yeah, I love that. How have stylists responded? Just to bump back to retail for a second, how have stylists responded to seeing the brand more available in retail to their clients? Have they started to add in the retail as well?
So yeah, so for salons, that is where we have seen our growth because at the
Okay.
end of the day, it's probably a 60-40 split, right? 60% of our business drives on retail, 40% on treatment because a treatment bottle will
Okay.
last an average consumer, depending how many corrections they're doing, it would last them a good couple months where
Okay.
every day they're selling retail, right?
Yeah.
So when we added, and again, the brand's been out for 15 years, when they started seeing the benefits, the results, they want to stock their shelves a little bit more. So
Yeah.
we're having the stylists not only involve themselves on the back bar end, but now they're showing the retail. We created an amazing retail intro. We just developed it. I want to say it's June. So I think it was mid-April. And we
Oh,
did 500 retail intros within the first 60 days. It was
dang.
the missing component of saying, here's our kits for
Right.
treatment. Now here's the retail
Here.
intro. And now
Right.
it's 3 of everything on the shelf. It's beautifully packaged. And again, the blue bottles, they just right
Yeah.
off the shelf.
Pop. I love that retail story, and I love the fact that, salon pros maybe need to focus more on retailing because it's such a profit margin for them, right? So this allows them to even gain profitability in selling that retail product for them.
Yeah, and I used to teach this to salons when I was a consultant, is you have really 3 ways to make your revenue in the
Right.
salon. It's new guests, it's
Yeah.
ticket adding, and it's retail.
Yeah.
Ticket adding and retail guests will add between 10 to 15% overall revenue. But when you look at retail sales, you have an opportunity, depending on how you buy, if you buy on promotions, stuff like that, you're talking 50 to 60% margins on some of these things.
Crazy. Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
like, why wouldn't you want them to walk out the door and bring home the product? And that's something that we did as a tailored company. We made sure that when we developed the overall online strategy and the retail strategy for salon, best price is in salon. We make sure, and I made
Oh,
sure
interesting.
that if
Okay.
the single mom or dad is out there trying to support their family,
Yeah.
when that guest sits down in their chair, they're going to go, what are they going to do? You're going to go mix the color. They're going to pull out their phone. I
Yeah.
can find it cheaper. I'm going to buy it somewhere else. You
Yeah.
can't do that with our brand.
Oh,
We
I love
strategically
that.
made that so
Hmm.
the sale stays in the salon in the chair. So if the stylist does their part and they support us, we're supporting them and we're protecting all barriers at the same
Yeah.
exact time.
That kind of gave me goosebumps. I'm
It does give
serious.
you goosebumps, right?
Because it's like we've got to support our pros. Like we're here to prop the pro up on the pedestal, and that's why the teas exist, to be honest. And so anything that you can do to support them, let's shout it from the rooftops. And talk to me about, are there other ways that you're supporting stylists and salons as a brand?
Oh, absolutely. So not just with our we'll put the education apart because that's
Okay.
obviously our main supporting model, right? We can be in the salon virtually, digitally, however you want for education and certification. But one of our biggest things that we've done in the past year is we realized that the PBA is such a huge incremental value to the stylist at
Yeah.
the end of the day because we donated for wildlife relief funds. We've donated for the Kentucky floods. We've donated for battered women, the domestic abuse. We are putting that money back in. And that's why I'm really proud to say here, especially in the teas, we are the only keratin company that is a proud PBA visionary member. Most keratin
Wow.
brands live as members, but we have already put in well over $50,000 in the first 6 months of this year back to the stylist. So when that stylist gets, or when PBA gets that phone call, I've been displaced from my salon, I'm relocated, I don't have the funds. PBA is like, we got your back. And
Yeah.
that was such a warming thing for us to involve ourselves with because let's face it, there's a lot of media coverage out there and they'll say, hey, if you give us this, we're going to give you this.
Yeah.
The PBA shows, hey, when you give us money, it goes to the stylist.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
going to those initiatives where we feel like we're supporting them 100%.
Yeah. Love the team at PBA. I think that they've done such an incredible job with all of the ups and downs for our pros in the last 5 or 6 years, right? I mean, think of like all of the thing that they've supported. So thank you for supporting that too.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the Clear formula,
Yeah.
and the demand behind it. So, what convinced you to invest in this formula, or maybe explain it first, and then let's talk a little bit about some of its differentiators and why you invested there.
Yeah. So the Clear's been out for 7 years as a sleeping giant. And when we got on board, it was a relief knowing that I have three alternative solutions, right? I have an original, I have a Clear and an Express. The Clear is really what's making the game change because, you know, our ingredient base is plant-based. You know, there's no chemicals. It's a
Okay.
plant-based glycolic acid or glyoxylic acid. Sorry, I got to get my chemicals right here.
Yeah,
And the thing that we realize is that people don't want fumes. They don't want to
fair.
say that when you have a keratin treatment, you can't put your ponytails up. You can't put your hair in a bin. You can't go out to the pool. You can't go to the beach. You can't go to the gym. Not with us. You
Mm,
can do all that same day. And that's what makes us a difference is because at the end of the day, we don't want to restrict the consumer after getting the hair done. Say, hey, don't touch your hair for 7 days.
all right.
You tell someone that they can't touch their hair for seven
No,
days, you're like, pass.
no.
So when we invested into the Clear, especially with publicity and marketing, giving it that life, we're starting to see a lot of distributors going, I have this formula. It's not performing well. I've heard of yours. Could you explain
Hmm.
it to me? And
Yeah,
it's, again, the same recipe for everyone, except we don't have those incorporating factors of downtime restrictions,
I
fumes, the
see.
smell. That's the best part about us too, is if you haven't smelled pure Brazilian, you got to smell it because the smell you see in the
Yeah,
bottle is the guest experience.
yeah.
It's not a fragrance that's been pumped in. That's naturally our acai, cocoa seed
Mm,
butter, and our hydrolyzed
huh.
keratin.
Okay.
We got
There's a lot of
superfoods.
there's a lot of differentiators there. Do you think that the formaldehyde ban gaining momentum was that the reason behind Clear or why it really moved forward so quickly?
I think it's what's driven the sales to increase quickly because again, it's been
Okay.
out for 7 years. I think that's what
Yeah.
the original developers, when they created the brand, you know, because they had the brand for 8 years and then they
Okay.
created Clear. And I think that's where they saw, okay, there's a conversation happening. Let's be prepared.
Okay.
And we get these phone calls all the time, right? California, Maryland, Washington, all the
Yeah.
salons going, hey, I can't buy my product anymore. Could you explain yours? So
Hmm.
we're filling that need. And as this band grows, you know, we have the formula right today, but it's unfortunate the formaldehyde ban because we don't have formaldehyde in our product. But unfortunately, that there's a group out there that's driving this initiative. They had a podcast yesterday, and it's umbrellaing all the ingredients that are harmful, quote unquote. But if you really break it down, ammonia isn't everything. You're going to find formaldehyde
Mm,
in an apple pie if you pull it out of the oven. Like there's so many things. It's the
interesting.
way that
Hmm.
manufacturers are using that ingredient, are
Okay.
using it safely, because we use the ingredient, but we use it at a safe level. That's what's really
Okay.
different about us because we're not sitting there pumping 30% methylene glycol. We're pumping a small enough amount because when you look at ingredients, and this may be something as an educational point for your guests, is when you pick up a package and you look at the ingredients in order of the way they're listed is their importance. You'll see
Okay.
a lot of competitors, a lot of keratins where their chemicals are right in the first three. Ours is in the back 17. So we
Ooh.
use the same amount, but we use a safe amount. And that's the hard part is this ban is kind of covering all of us. But I'm like, there are
Right.
so many safe options, but unfortunately, someone's just throwing a blanket on everything.
Yeah, that is interesting because it's like that misconception that they're all sort of lumped into the category, right? And
Yeah.
so you coming out the gate or, with the products, it's like, no, no, no. Let me educate you on why we're different, which it sounds
Yeah.
like is a big, incredible point of differentiation for you.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation piece with salons because, there's a lot of salons where like, hey, listen, I do a lot of teenagers. Are you safe? Absolutely.
Yeah,
I have
right.
people that are pregnant and breastfeeding. Are you safe? Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's a lot of niche that some people miss is like, you got to remember at the end of the day, 90% of the clientele for the beauty industry are women. You got to appease
right,
them at the end of the day. Because if you start ruling out certain categories, you're going to start ruling out sales in
right.
the salon. And that's the big piece that most salons miss.
For sure. Do you think that there a misconception out there that a formaldehyde free or clear solution can't match the longevity or sleek finish of a classic quote unquote keratin treatment?
We get that all the time. It's that and color shifting because we don't do any
Yeah.
color shifting.
Okay.
Because that's a lot. When you see a lot of formaldehyde freeze, there are some companies that, oh, we're completely chemical free, but they're having you pass over the hair at 450, 30 times. I'm like,
Ooh.
well, no wonder the hair's straightening. You're not giving it any yield, right? So with
Yeah.
ours, we use low temperature, low amounts of the solution. And I will tell everyone here, you will get the exact same results from our original to our clear, the same average 3 to 4
Huh.
months. The big difference is, and we always educate our clients and our stylists, is you could do the best red hair color any day of the week.
Yeah.
They go home and use a generic OTC and the color bleeds on the pillow. They're going to call the stylist going, your color faded.
Right.
But we teach them if you use professional products at home, that keeps the service going. Because remember, our products have hydrolyzed keratin inside them. So it just keeps that longevity going even more. So I'll be the first to tell you, you'll get the same exact results from our original to our clear to our express.
Okay. Heard it here.
Heard it here.
Right from Andrew.
Right from the horse's mouth.
I love that. What about the ban as it continues? I mean, how is that going to affect the future of pure Brazilian?
It's so we talk about this weekly on our
Hmm.
touch bases for leadership, and we have alternate formulas, right? We have formulas stacked up on the shelf, and when we need to activate those formulas that are going to be eventually better outside the ban, we'll turn them on. But as of right now, it's three
Yeah.
states. There's a fourth in conversation. We're not stressing about it as of today because we have a product that performs at a safe level. If the
Yeah.
ban goes into effect, we'll activate our new formulas that have none of the ingredients, but there's no reason today. And you know
To
how
do that.
bans work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
they're going to
Right.
talk about the ban today. It could be
Yeah.
3 to 4 years
Yeah.
before that ban's
Right.
going. I'm like, why shut sales down today when this
No.
isn't going to go into effect? But it's
Yeah.
all about education of the stylist too.
Yeah. I love that from an R&D perspective that you have a roadmap that you've anticipated this ban already. That's pretty
Yeah,
dang smart.
it's anxiety. You got to be prepared for everything. Because when we got into the brain, we're like, okay, this is going to happen. So we started this in 2023. We started working
Yeah.
with manufacturers, chemical manufacturers. Okay, what's the next big ingredient? Is it hyaluronic acid? Is it glycolic
Wow.
acid? Is it some root that gets squeezed for the juice that gives you the same effect? So there's a lot of things. And thank God for chemists because when I sit on these calls dealing with them, it's like, I'm so glad you understand molecular levels, viscosity levels, odor
Yeah.
levels, because that's really going to alter your product's performance too.
Huh.
So
Hmm.
today we're not worried. We know we're not going to be worried because we're prepared for it. So when that time
Yeah.
comes, it's click and activate.
Dang. Pretty smart
I,
group over there, huh?
yeah, we kind of prepare for it, and that I laugh all the time. I was like, man, I wish some of these companies had just called us. We could have private labeled the formula and helped them out because a lot of them
Woof.
have made it
Yeah.
difficult for doing these services.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, let's talk about clean buzzwords everywhere. What brand story tactics are you using as a brand to communicate, Clear's formula benefits without kind of getting lost in that clean beauty noise?
Yeah, and we really because when we talk about clear, it's plant derived. There's no chemicals
Yeah.
added into it. Because again, people are going to say, well, you have glyoxylic acid, but it's like, but if you realize where glyoxylic acid comes from, we're not going to name our vegetable proteins because it's a little proprietary. But when you realize that, yes, you can chemically make something, or you can find its original derivative source in an organic or a natural form and then harness that
Hmm.
power. Now, does it adjust your longevity of shelf life? Absolutely. But we
Okay.
turn and burn so much inventory where we're not stressing about, well, this is going to expire in 2 years. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine because it still operates with an ingredient. So when we talk about, we use the words vegan, we use the words sodium chloride free, we use the cruelty free, paraben free. We use those things because those have been the buzzwords for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
new buzzwords, but we have to remember that every year 25,000 hairdressers graduate from school and they don't know these words.
Wow.
So it's
Wow.
keeping that education going because we did an event in Texas It was 2 years ago, and I had the audience raise their hand. I was like, how many of you guys have heard of keratin treatments? And the whole audience raised their hand.
Yeah.
I was like, then I said, okay, put your hands down. How many of you do them today? 5 people raised their hands out of 120.
No way.
And I said, I want to know why. And they said, I was told they weren't safe.
Yes, for sure.
Imagine knowing that we lost 15 years worth of stylists, knowing that there was a safer category. And so we live there in our cosmetology programs. We are in thousands of schools, and we list that off saying, teach them right, teach them the way to make money, teach them to offer these services, and teach them the right buzzwords, because they need to repeat that out of their mouth to their consumer, because their consumer is living in that world.
For sure.
Since COVID, everyone's looking at the back of every package, every bottle going, oh, is this grass-fed? Doesn't matter if it was grass-fed, but those are the things that people are looking for. So when we talk about the ingredients, we make sure we educate from top to bottom, because if we don't, we know we're going to miss a generation in there. And that's what I'm really big with, especially with my podcast, is making sure I'm able to hand that baton to the next generation to keep this going, because so many times we restrict a certain audience because they're not prepared for this. It's like, it doesn't matter. Get them prepared.
Get them prepared. Did upgrading those ingredients raise costs for you?
No, so when we upgrade, so the clear's been out. So we have, I know the tariffs have been a big question, and ingredients are a big question of pricing. We have not experienced anything on our end with the cost, because and again, to those people listening, when you look at cost of things, the more you buy, the cheaper the price goes down.
Yeah.
Right. So what we do is we plan saying, okay, we know this is a powerful product. Can you make it better? And then it's also leverage. You go to one manufacturer saying, hey, I want you to make this. Well, it's going to be this. Okay, I'm going to get quotes from 7 other people, because there's so many chemist companies out there. So we really didn't see an increase or a need to increase. And actually, I'll be the first to tell you here, we've actually lowered prices this year for distributors. We've lowered prices for launch. So while everyone's taking on these, when they say, oh, we're tariff safe, I'm like, yeah, because your margins were so strong. We're reversing. Now we're giving back more down the road, because you should have seen the owner's face. I'm like, we're doing a price decrease. And they're like, what? Why are we doing that? I'm like, because it makes sense for everyone around that. Again, that sphere, it makes sense for all parties involved. So we didn't incorporate any price increases because we buy strategically and we plan out the year. And with what's coming, we have to plan out the next 3 years effectively. So we have to keep our costs down, because we do not ever, I never want to chat GPT a message and say, by the way, we have a price increase coming, effective, blah, 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 blah. I never want to write that either.
No. Same. Good for you. Okay. As somebody on the front lines of everything with the brand, what is the most exciting change that you've witnessed regarding the brand's position in the marketplace?
I'm going to go back to, we did a class in Long Island, mid-April, and we had a model, and I wish I could have paid this woman to be with us forever. She's been getting keratin treatments done by every brand, right? Everyone that's out there. And she's like, why are my eyes burning? Why isn't there a fume? Why do I have to go outside? And it's like, this is what we're experiencing, is because now we're watching a guest go, I don't have to walk out of the salon halfway through my keratin treatment to get a breath of fresh air. When someone says, my hair feels so much lighter, and I look at them and it's like, just think about it. We didn't take thinning shears to your head. We're showing you what your natural cuticle will look like and feel like, because some people say, oh, I lost my volume. You didn't have volume, honey. You had frizz. And that's where the buildup of all that volume on the cuticle level and on the scalp, you've got frizz that builds up. Because if you think of the hair like a shingle, you got a whole bunch of shingles all tied up on each other. It's going to build a roof. So we talk about it. So just hearing those feedbacks of, I can breathe, I can smell, my eyes aren't burning, my scalp's not on fire, I can see that. Because you got to think, there are some keratin companies that sell the customer goggles and protective eyewear. Because it's like, hey, we know this is going to affect you. Can you wear these goggles? Not us. So hearing that feedback, hearing those success stories from our stylists and the consumers going, my hair feels amazing, I want this forever. That, when I got those messages, I'm like, we're on to something. Because again, I'll say it here first. We've been doing this for 18 months now, incorporating the brand. To date, I have not had one single negative review. Not one, it didn't work. Not one, I don't like the smell. Not one, I switched from pure Brazilian to something else. 9 times out of 10, they're switching to us, or they just never heard of us before.
Dang. Okay. I like that. I like where you're sitting in the market.
Sitting pretty high and heavy right now. But we also know that poking this bear is going to come with the competitors poking
Yeah,
back. And that's
for
we
sure.
prepare for those things because
Yeah.
it's like, it's marketing, it's sales tactics. So
Yeah.
knowing that we have a great audience and we have success patterns is just making us more bulletproof, saying, you could say
Yeah.
what you want, but we've got the proof of the pudding.
I don't think you're gonna back down.
Not in my nature. Not in my nature. I wish you could
Oh,
see the picture on the wall over here. It's a gigantic shark mouth and it says shark mindset the
yes.
entire time.
I love it. I love it so much. I can feel that coming through the
Thank you.
podcast. Okay, one word to describe Pure Brazilian's current momentum or theme in the industry. What would it be?
One word, huh?
Yeah.
Relentless.
All right.
I
Yeah,
think
that's a
that's
pretty
where
good one.
we're because if I had to sum it up in one, it's we're and someone said this, I can't remember the author. All you have to do is be the last man standing, right? You
Yeah.
just have to
Whew.
keep standing every single time, no matter what the industry's telling you, no matter what your friends are telling you, your investors, your brokers, who's ever behind you telling you, oh, this isn't going to work. You just keep moving
Keep
because
going.
we could have given up on this. We could have avoided this topic because when the gentleman bought, I'm like, guys, this is a tough market to get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just perseverance. We don't take negativity. We don't allow negativity on the team. We just keep moving it forward because that's what's making us persistent and resilient is knowing, okay, we can take on the tidal wave and we still can surf on it too.
Love it. All right. We're going to end on that note. We're going to get to the tea's quick takes.
Let's go for it.
I loved it. All right. I'm going to fire some questions at you. We're going to see what you say back.
Fire away.
It's as easy as that. All right. What is the craziest styling request that you have ever received from a celeb or a client from when you were behind the chair?
taking out taking out OTC direct dye colors and
Ugh.
saying they were jet black, like, I want to be blonde. I'm like, and this is my first year as a stylist. I'm like, that's not happening. That's not going to
No.
happen. So
Bye.
that is one of those moments where I'm like, color correction. Let's focus on color correction down the road.
Love that. All right. I feel like that you're in the zone a lot. And I want to know, what is your go-to song, playlist, podcast when you're like dialed in the zone?
Yeah. So my zone, believe it or not, I start every morning off with a cold plunge. I
Ooh,
get the
you're a
brain
cold plunge guy.
cold plunge guy through and through. I have it in my backyard. I walk through my garden. I jump into that. And then after I
Yes.
jump out of the ice bath, I put the headphones on. I have a playlist. It might be Big X the Plug. It could be a little
Love.
70s. It could be a multitude of things, but I just get in that zone because I know when I sit at this desk for the next 6 hours,
Yeah.
we're all in.
All right.
So I have a daily routine where it's like,
Okay.
I may wake up terrible, but I promise you, you jump in 50-degree water at first thing at
I
7 o'clock in the
can't.
morning. I don't care who you are. You're going to be awake one way or another.
That is like super driven of you.
I,
But
I,
again, it's the theme.
it is a theme. And it's because you have to be prepared today, but you also have to take care of yourself, right? Because
Right.
like you said, I'm balancing three great brands. There is technically a
Yeah.
fourth out there. I work with 13 different international brokers. I have a team of 20. I
Yeah.
have leadership I have to respond to. I have all these components. The plates are always spinning around me. And I just watch them
Right.
spin. It's like, okay,
Right.
I got this. I just pull one plate at a time.
Love it. Okay, what's a bucket list item that you want to check off in the next 6 months or year?
Oof.
I know bucket list is hard. Do we make those
Bucket list is,
anymore?
I think we still do because I've been fortunate enough with this year. I've crossed off a lot of them where I'm going
Okay.
to Italy. We've been to Italy, Puerto Rico. I've taken the family to both of these places. A bucket
Fun.
list item, it's not even, I don't think it'd be an item. It's more of a thing where I want to make sure that with my children, my wife, they're along for this ride because at the end of the day, they've been with me for 20 years watching this happen.
Yeah.
They have seen me disappear on weekends. They have seen me go
Yep.
through everything from leadership meetings, traveling across the world to Trinidad, Puerto Rico, Barbados, all these things. And
Yeah.
I sit there going, I want to make sure they're a part of me because I want that travel bug to kick in with them because there's nothing more rewarding than your 13-year-old getting off a train in Italy going, oh, wow. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's a big world out here. So I think my bucket list item
Yeah.
is to make sure I cross this globe with my children before I pass
Woo!
away.
Woo! Love it. All right. Current social media trend. What's one that you're like, don't get it, don't like it, don't need to see it anymore?
You're asking, you got some good ones there because I could go with the perm mullets because it defies gravity. Where you and I we've been in this long enough where perms and mullets went away. Now in the past 2 years, they're having babies and they're combining each other together. And the broccoli tops, where there's just a disassociation of line of demarcation, which as a stylist, I'm like, so we're just going to stop the clipper halfway up the head and I'm going to charge you $50. I'm like, so there's a couple of those trends where it's like getting back to the roots of good hair. Yeah, I would say that because I don't play around the politics. I stay out of all that stuff because at the end of the day, I got this in my family. These are the two loves of my life and that's all I need to worry about.
Love it. All right, last one. If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Knowledge.
Oh,
knowledge.
Nobody has ever said that before.
I think that is the most missed opportunity for so many people because obviously I have my books behind me and there's a whole library in the house. It's you have an opportunity, especially, let's face it, you have a 4 to 6 inch device in your hand where you can request any piece of data in the world.
Right.
So many people choose not to. So I think as long as I can attain knowledge and learn, because that's why I'm here today. I learned from some of the greats in this industry and I'm applying all their pieces in developing who I am. So it's always going to be knowledge hand over because I don't care if the book, I read a book from Marcus Aurelius. This thing was written before Christ sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I am now getting those mantras, those meditations, that knowledge. It still applies from then to now. Knowledge is power. We'll go with Schoolhouse Rock here for a second. Knowledge is power.
Love it. All right. Last question. Where in the world can we find you, your podcast, and Pure Brazilian?
So we'll start with Pure Brazilian, purebrazilianhair.com or purebrazilian.com, Pure Brazilian on Instagram. You'll find us almost everywhere. Look for us at all the major publicity channels. My Instagram is the Ginger King on Instagram. That's my amazing. Personal one. And then my podcast is Lather, Rinse, Repeat. I have my own podcast channel. Listen in because that is where these moments here, we take the people who have been behind the industry, focusing on the industry, and we give them a voice because, as we started this conversation, everyone thinks, oh, this brand, they're but there was 1,500 people behind that brand. Let's talk to some of them of what made them tick. So you can find me there. And then my kids just told me I'm trending on Google now. I am a searchable item. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm actually Googleable now where I just Google my name and I get some other guy that looks like me.
I love a your searchable item. Is that what you said? Searchable item.
Searchable item. My daughter, she saw one video of me that got released. I did an interview for Everyone Needs a Video. It was a company we did for a show back in Jersey. And she goes, Dad, do you know that you got 3,000 views on one of your videos on 4 different platforms? I'm like, what does that mean? They go, you're kind of cool. So I'm like, now I'm starting to see my daughter's friends post and tag me. So I'm like, okay, I got this still. I'm maybe almost 40 here, but I still got it.
I love it. What a fun way to end. This has been a blast. Thank you for sharing all of your knowledge with us today. Congrats on the success of the brands, if you will. And we're excited to watch and cheer you on from the sidelines.
I appreciate that. We're really, really happy to have this voice here, especially on this platform. And I just really hope everyone gets to keep watching us because 2026, it's going to be a fantastic year for us.
All right. We're coming for you again in 26.
We're here.
All right, Jeff. I mean, Pure Brazilian, they made a splash at Premiere Orlando. They're kicking it up a notch. This was so interesting to find out really what they're doing from a brand perspective. And if you check out the cover of Printed, the Tease Media's magazine that just debuted, they are the cover. And there's an incredible spread all about Pure Brazilian where you can learn more. They're also, Jeff, spoiler, I mean, they're everywhere, literally everywhere. They're in our Hello Salon Pro box this month. So if you're like, I haven't tried it, I need to try it, head on over to thetease.com to get a subscription to Hello Salon Pro. And your first box is going to be Pure Brazilian. So thank you, Andrew, for joining us on the pod. Be sure to hit subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease, and sending questions to volumeup@thetease.com.
Volume Up is a Tease media production. This episode was produced by Monica Hickey and Madeline Hickey. James Arbache is our editor and audio engineer. Thank you to our creative team for the custom Volume Up theme song and for putting together the graphics and videos for this episode.